So Pocket Camp is officially dead. The online service was shut down, and as a result, the game went dark. However, because of the number of players who continue to play Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, the developers made the decision to keep the app running in an offline paid version of the game called Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete. But is Pocket Camp Complete worth buying when it used to be free? What's new about it? And is it even worth taking a look at a game which is over 7 years old now? Let's take a look at the new app and see if it really does hold up against Pocket Camp, even if it is a really old game. If you're new around here, hi, my name is Twilight. I'm a cozy gamer who is slightly obsessed with everything Animal Crossing. I do speed builds, tips and tricks videos, and talk about news and rumors related to the Animal Crossing franchise. If that's your vibe, please consider subscribing for more videos like this, and let me know in the comments below what your favourite part is of Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. So let's talk about the things which are new and different about Pocket Camp Complete, which you need to pay attention to, and talk about why they're exciting and what you need to know before you jump into playing the app for the first time. Transferring your save data over to Pocket Camp Complete is super easy. All you have to do is follow the prompts on the screen to download your save data from your Nintendo account and load it up to continue playing where you left off. All of the items in your pockets will be safe, your outfits will stay the same, and anything you previously crafted or designed on your campsite or in your cabin will also be available, so you don't have to worry about any of those things being missing. The only thing that's really disappeared are your leaf tickets, which you can no longer earn through Bladler's Treasure Track or purchase with real money. Instead, what the developers have done is remove these from the game and replace them with leaf tokens, which are an in game currency that you can earn through gameplay. What was really nice of the developers to do, which they honestly really didn't have to do, is they allowed your completed goals to transfer over, which is absolutely amazing. But what's even better about this is that you can get the rewards from your completed goals a second time. What this means is that where you would have earned leaf tickets in the previous version of Pocket Camp, you will now get leaf tokens, and they work the same way as leaf tickets did previously. But if you had a previous save file, even if you used up the last of your leaf tickets before moving over, you will still have some leaf tokens to start on the new version of the app. In addition to this, you'll also have the option to get extra leaf tokens outside of gameplay if you would like to use it or have completed all of the leaf token goals. Where you have the leaf token symbol at the top of the screen, there is a small plus button, and when you press this, you get taken into what looks like a storefront. In the previous version of Pocket Camp, this will be where you bought leaf tickets with real money, but since microtransactions have been removed, this is now the place where you can exchange bells for leaf tokens. 5 times a month, you will be able to exchange 10,000 bells to get 20 leaf tokens at a time. This is amazing as it means you'll always have a running supply of leaf tokens to actually work with to buy extra resources or put towards buying more fortune cookies. Another thing that's different and is actually quite a small feature but brings a really positive change into the Pocket Camp is the introduction of a buddy villager, otherwise called the camp caretaker. This villager is someone you nominate to fulfill requests for campsite villagers. They can also catch bugs and fish for you and can help you gather items you need for the seasonal events, such as the bugs that are in your garden. In return for completing these for you, you gain extra friendship with this villager, so there's an additional benefit to having a camp caretaker. In order to nominate a villager as your caretaker, you have to go into the map and then click on the icon in the bottom right. This will then allow you to select a villager who has visited your campsite. You can pick whoever is in this list and you can change them at any point. Whoever you have as your camp caretaker will automatically follow you around most of the biomes that exist in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete, and they will also be the villager that you'll see in your planner all the time. But if you want to turn these off, you also have the option to do so that you don't get followed around everywhere you go, or if you want the villager on your planner to be random. The single biggest change that comes with the removal of online features from Pocket Camp into Pocket Camp Complete includes the friend list and any trading with friends. This has been replaced with a new system that works offline. Instead, you now have the ability to collect these things called camper cards, which are a digital way to add friends into Pocket Camp Complete. You can make your own camper card, which contains your current player character, your level, and whoever you have as your camp caretaker. You can change the poses you do to make it as cute or as emotive as you want it to be, and you can change the colour of the card to match your vibe. When you save this, you'll have the option to add your camper card into your photos so that you can then share this with friends. You'll get two versions of the card, the front part of it that will show your character, your camp caretaker, and your level, and then the back of the card which has the QR code on it. It's the QR code that's the most important, as you need this QR code to add camper cards into your collection. If you want to add the camper card of someone else, you need to press on the QR code you see on the screen, and this will open your camera for you to scan the QR code of your friend. However, if you have an image of your friend's QR code, you can open this up in the app instead, and you'll get access to your friend's camper card that way. Because of the lack of online functionality, there's no way to know if someone has added you, and your friend doesn't get notified if you add their camper card. As a result, I've seen a lot of people online just telling others that they've added a camper card in and sharing theirs in return so others can add them. It's worth saying that if you are transferring your save data, your current friends list will come with you and you'll automatically have the camper cards of these friends, so you won't start with nothing. You can have a maximum of 100 camper cards in your game at one time, so you will see plenty of friends in the Pocket Camp world by adding as many as you can. But what do these camper cards do, and are they actually useful? Well, this depends on how you feel about the change in interaction levels there are in Pocket Camp Complete. Where the camper cards matter the most is in a new section of the Pocket Camp world called Whistle Pass. This is now the only place where you can see other players in the game. In the original Pocket Camp, you used to be able to see other players' camper vans and players in each of the biomes you had around the world. But now, with the online functionality going, those spaces are now completely empty, and instead, a new area called Whistle Pass is where you'll see them. The players you see in Whistle Pass can still help you get into the quarry, but instead of sending out a mass request to your friends to ask for help, you have to speak to each of the players you see in Whistle Pass to ask them if they want to help you. They can say either yes or no, but for the most part, they will agree to help you. The campers you see in Whistle Pass can also give you items, including friend powder, so you can still use this to craft items in Pocket Camp Complete. Personally, I don't have anything against camper cards. I think they're a good option to replace the friends list in Pocket Camp, but I don't think they're particularly well implemented. The collection of cards is great, but the number of cards you collect doesn't seem to affect the number of players you see in Whistle Pass. You still need a few camper cards in order to see people in Whistle Pass, but I've never seen more than about 5 to 10 players here, which is a really small number compared to the around 30 camper cards that I have in Pocket Camp Complete right now. And what I'm finding is that the interactions I have with those who do appear in Whistle Pass feel really empty and lack any substance. These issues are even more apparent when you look at the other new feature introduced with Whistle Pass, which is the KK Slider concerts. I thought this was a good addition into Pocket Camp when I originally heard that this was going to be a thing, as KK Slider concerts are a staple in Animal Crossing games, and it was a surprise to find out that it actually wasn't a feature in Pocket Camp. You can attend KK Slider concerts every day in Pocket Camp Complete at Whistle Pass at 7 p.m. by walking all of the way into the right into a wooded area. You'll find KK sitting on a wooden log on the stage, singing with all of your camper card characters, standing around and listening to the concert. You can select the different player characters and dance with them or talk with them, but outside of that, there's nothing else to really do here. You can listen to KK playing whatever he's playing at that given point, but you can't actually talk to him to start a concert or pick a KK song to listen to in the same way that you can in New Horizons or in any other Animal Crossing game. This to me is the biggest disappointment with Pocket Camp Complete because I love the KK Slider concerts, but without being able to interact with them in the way that I want and not having many players around to really interact with, I find that I don't particularly go to Whistle Pass more than about once a day to unlock the quarry. Even having the option to select a player and ask them to dance and have a similar animation to what you see in Happy Home Paradise or from New Horizons KK Slider concert would be better than what you have in Pocket Camp Complete. It's just sad that this part wasn't built out as fully as I would like it to be, but I can understand that there may not have been as much time as the developers would have needed to complete development here following the announcements that the online servers would be shut down. The final thing that is brand new for Pocket Camp and is something I'm really pleased to see in Pocket Camp Complete is the introduction of custom codes. Custom codes have been a staple in most Animal Crossing games, but for whatever reason, these were never available in Pocket Camp. Pocket Camp Complete sets out to change this by allowing you to download custom codes which have been designed in New Horizons and use these to customize your character or personalize your campsite or cabin. Unlike in New Horizons, when you open up the Custom Designs app, you can only search by Creator ID or Design ID. You don't have the ability to search for a code by name or to look for favorite creators, which means you need to look for the codes that you want on the internet and then go looking for them in Pocket Camp Complete. When you find the Creator ID or Design ID, which will be either an MA or an MO code, You enter this into the relevant box and the code will load up on screen. It is worth keeping in mind, though, that not every code that is available in New Horizons will be available in Pocket Camp Complete. The only options that will appear for you in Pocket Camp are any codes that have been tagged as clothing, umbrellas, fans, flags, standees, or as path or floor codes. And this is where I was running into issues when I was testing this feature. Normally, when you're looking for a custom code path in New Horizons, you're looking for the MA codes so that you can see all of the pieces and make sure that you're saving down the right color for your game. However, when I was testing this, I was finding that the custom code paths I was looking at didn't appear in Pocket Camp Complete and was showing me the error that the code was not supported. Now, I'm not a custom code designer, but I had a theory as to why this may be, and I want to say a big thank you to April Honey for helping me out with this because she knows custom codes better than anyone I know. I'll leave her channel in the description below if you want to see all of the amazing things she does. What I thought was happening with my own experience of looking for custom codes was that the code was not being tagged as a path code, and this was why it wasn't coming up in Pocket Camp Complete. From my limited experience with designing codes, you have to select a tag for the custom code you're making before you design it, which then allows you to use the code in whatever format you choose to use it in. This is helpful for custom design clothing because different styles of clothing will look different on your character, so the code needs to match the type of clothing you're wearing. With custom code paths though, a lot of the time these are not labeled as ground codes because if you do that, you can't use the custom code to customize items. As a result, custom code designers normally don't apply the ground tag so that there is a lot more flexibility in how their codes can be used in New Horizons. And it's this which causes issues in Pocket Camp Complete. What this means for you as a player using custom codes in Pocket Camp Complete is that you'll need to be prepared to find a lot of the custom code pathing you want to use is not available because island designers and custom code creators will finish an island, upload the codes, then delete their save data to restart and design a new island with new codes. Those codes which were uploaded can't be amended, so you'll never be able to pull them into Pocket Camp Complete. There are still a lot of options available for you to choose from, but you may find that the perfect code you want to use in Pocket Camp Complete is not available, and you then need to look a little bit further to find a code that is available. You're also very limited on the number of custom codes you can pull into the game. You can only have 20 path codes and 20 clothing codes, so don't expect to be able to pull in the really detailed paths as you won't have the space for everything. I managed to pull most of the pieces for one custom code path in, and that was my 20 spaces full, and I still didn't get every piece that I needed. Placing custom code pathing is fairly straightforward, if a little bit clunky. You need to go into your campsite or cabin and then click on Design. This will then allow you the option to place furniture along with custom codes. You need to place custom codes one at a time and can move them manually into the right place. What you need to keep in mind is that because you're in design mode and the custom codes are classified as furniture, every single code that you place counts as a furniture item and you have a limited number of items that you can decorate your spaces with. If you're someone who is planning on using mostly custom codes or only a handful, then this may not be a problem for you. But if you're someone who is more prone to cluttercore in your spaces, then you may struggle with this limit. So that is all of the new things you need to pay attention to in Pocket Camp Complete, but are these things really worth it? Given the game has now gone from an online free-to-play app with microtransactions to an offline paid-for app, is it worth spending $10 in a game which is over 7 years old? By and large, Pocket Camp Complete is really not that different from playing the original Pocket Camp. You can still build relationships with your villagers, Gulliver's ship works the same, crafting and decorating is the same, but there are a lot of differences with the closure of online features, particularly with the lack of friends list and meaningful interactions which do change the way the game works. Is Pocket Camp Complete worth $10? I would say yes. If you're someone who's put a lot of time into Pocket Camp and may have been paying for the plans that existed before the microtransactions were turned off, it's definitely worth $10 to continue playing it. And as a new player, there is a lot of content to discover in Pocket Camp, which will continue up to September 2025. So at $10, I personally think it's really worth paying that just to try it out, even if you're someone who has never tried Pocket Camp before. Does that mean I think that Pocket Camp Complete is the perfect game? No, there are definitely things which I think could be better with it, and hopefully some of those things will be changed as new content continues to come out for Pocket Camp Complete. If you want to see more of my initial thoughts and reactions to what the app would look like, you should watch this video next as I went into more details about the announcement and what that can mean for the future of Pocket Camp. And I'll see you over there.